What's going on, folks? Brandon the Broker here, and we are going to react to History in the Dark. He makes some pretty good videos. I like the guy. He does make a lot of videos about scams and some of the stuff that used to go on back in the day on those infomercials. So I really want to look at some of his real estate ones, as I am a real estate professional. So let's see his opinion, and let's see if we kind of agree on things.
The following program period has been purchased by the Beckley Group. Content does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of CHCH TV 11.
Following program reveals real estate techniques and formulas that are applicable in both the United States and Canada. Any references to tax and mortgage laws are based on the U.S. legal system. Please consult your tax and legal advisors concerning any of these issues.
Well, then there's half the problem right there. The laws in America and in the United States and the laws in Canada are not the same. Those are two very different laws. Those are two very different systems. What do you... Well, then again, this was a little bit before my time, so they've probably changed a lot, but no, don't listen to that.
3 weeks, we've already bought 7 properties, and with no money down, we're putting $30,000 cash in our pocket from the purchase of these 7 properties.
We'll actually make $106,000 paid to us, and we'll net about $83,000 out of that, and that's for about 3 days worth of work, so that's not too bad.
I acquired over $1.5 million worth of income-producing real estate, including a beautiful home for myself, within 18 months.
Oh my God.
And you all have these dreams. And what I want to be able to do is take those dreams via the unique money-making vehicle of real estate and translate them into financial freedom.
Oh my God. Talk about a blast from the past. Talk about waking up at 3 in the morning with the flu and you can't get back to sleep, and you hear that music and you're just like, kill me. So let's first talk about it. Can you make good money in real estate? Yes, you can. As a real estate agent, broker, inspector, investor, wholesaler, yes, you can make good money. The thing is, it's not going to happen snap of the fingers. And if it does happen snap of the fingers, it's probably a scam. And you're probably selling one of these courses that people are paying for. Now, let's just get into it. I think I need to say, I haven't watched this. This is my first time watching. I think he just uploaded this as I'm watching it 32 minutes ago. So I'm watching it for the first time. I don't remember this one. I'm more of the Carlton Sheets, No Money Down, and William McCorkle ilk, but this is my first time seeing this one.
Passionate dream is to be financially independent. I want to be able to help my friends, my family, to travel all over this world, to continue buying real estate, possibly all over this world. And Ed Beckley's no down payment seminar has made it all come true.
The first week I gained a $70,000 property, and then after that I acquired close to $250,000, I believe, is what I've been involved in the last 2 months.
I believe through this method that a person even of my age, you can have an estate that'll just blow your mind by the time you're ready to retire.
I have acquired 4 properties, all with nothing down, and I've put about $10,000 in my pocket. It's all very simple.
I would recommend the course very strongly to someone who wanted to get rich, because there isn't a better way in this country to get rich than in real estate, and the Beckley seminar gives you the...
That is true, but I just want you to understand, at that time, yes, seminars and stuff like that was the way to go. Nowadays, you can find anything you need on YouTube for free. People are literally just spewing it out left and right, the ways to do it correctly. Or you can become I wouldn't call it an intern, but get up underneath someone and they could teach you the way how to do it correctly. You don't have to buy a course or anything like that. You don't have to pay to go to a seminar to learn the secrets. The secrets are out there. It's called YouTube.
Tools you need to follow through with your ambition. You can go as far as you want with it.
It's the all-new Millionaire Maker Show with multimillionaire real estate expert Ed Beckley, revealing how to get rich in real estate without cash, credit, or even a job.
Jay Murphy from Houston, Texas, went out and bought over 60 houses since taking the No Down Payment seminar just a little over a year ago. Mark Osborne from Detroit, Michigan, since 2.5 years ago, taking the course, he's bought over $2.5 million worth of property. Chris Fisher from the middle of Iowa, small town of Iowa, in the last 2 years has developed over $1 million net worth and over $250,000 in cash.
When you hear people talk like this, please do understand there is something, caveat emptor. Always remember that. Caveat emptor.
I get so excited when I talk about these folks. These are successful graduates of the No Down Payment Seminar and Home Study course throughout the country, and we have over 50,000 of these people. Say, how many of you would like to hear how these folks did it? Well, I hope so. That's why I'm here tonight.
So with Geico, we can easily
let's let him get his money real quick.
Yeah, home, car, motorcycle, all bundled.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Ed Beckley. For a brief period in the mid-'80s, you might have seen his face. Seriously, he just looks like the kind of dude that's about to sell.
No, actually, in the 80s, I would be watching Sesame Street. My time was the 90s, but yeah, I probably did see this guy once or twice. Probably.
You the best used car you'll ever buy. Actually, wait, no, the opposite. But for a brief period, you might have seen him on television. Because he ran a series of infomercials about his seminars telling you how you can make the millions of dollars. The Millionaire Maker with Ed Beckley. Yeah! And in what way are you gonna instantly become a millionaire with the secrets that Ed is gonna share with you? Well, the answer is none of this is gonna work. There are two different particular scams here, both of which involve get-rich-quick schemes, neither of which are good ideas. One is alarmingly bad, but we're going to start with the one that everyone's kind of expecting when it comes to infomercials and seminars. Real estate. Why is it always the real estate?
Because real estate is a way that you can become financially secure at worst with the effort, and at best wealthy, generational wealth. Sorry, I'm moving around a little bit, but it is a lot of work. There is work to it to stay on the straight and narrow. Now, if you don't care and you just want to put stuff together and then run, yeah, that's easy. That's easy money. But if you want to actually build your name in real estate as, like I say, an agent, broker, investor, wholesaler, flipper, it takes a lot more, and it takes a lot more money. So that's part of the reason why a lot of scam artists do go straight into real estate, because the average consumer, even though they're smarter now, they get tripped up over big words. They get tripped up over, as I like to call it, the pimp talk. You just throw a lot of information out there fast, and they pretty much think you're the expert. But when you talk to me, a person who has been in real estate now for about 10 years, I could look at you and know you're full of shit. That's part of the reason why some of these people hate me. Partially.
Every single time, I swear, it's always like, let me teach you how to make just $1 gajillion selling houses for no money down. No, you don't need money to buy real estate. It's not one of the most expensive commodities on the planet. Don't be ridiculous. But yeah, Ed promised his seminars would teach you how to get rich off of real estate. He called it the No Down Payment Real Estate Seminar, and the reality was most of the advice was not applicable to the situation. Because once again, focused on finding ways to get a hold of real estate with no down payment. And do you have any idea how difficult it is to pull that off? It is not something that everybody is capable of doing.
USDA loan. Now, I understand what he's trying to say. USDA loan is a zero money down. VA loan is a zero money down. Depending, you could do down payment assistance that will pay the down payment, but you might have to pay the closing costs. Who knows? Some places you can get both, some places you can't. I do understand what he's trying to say. And when you start hearing things like this, they're usually some kind of creative financing that they're trying to push off onto you. Once again, remember these two words: caveat emptor.
Or is able to do. There just isn't enough real estate for everybody to get into the real estate business, for one. And there's definitely not enough real estate for there to be enough sales where the seller is willing to give away the property for no money down. And if they are, they must really want to get rid of it because it's probably radioactive or something. Like, there's really no way that anyone was going to make any money off of this, except, of course, Ed, because he was charging you for the seminar. It's always the seminar. That's the grift, people. If they're charging you for the seminar to teach you how to get rich, the real way to get rich is to actually have your own seminar, because that's where he's making his money. It's not off the real estate. It's off of teaching you his secret to real estate, except there is no secret to real estate.
So I think he's going to go into the second part of how they make their money. But sometimes the seminar is, you'll always see it. This seminar is worth $5,000, but today I'm going to give it to you for $495. No, that seminar isn't even worth $495. That seminar isn't even worth $50, because we literally give that seminar away for free with YouTube, with first-time home buyer seminars, for VA seminars, for USDA, FHA seminars. We literally could tell you for free. It's pretty much on the internet. So, but I'm sure he'll get into the second part. So when you hear people saying something like that online, like, and it's always an influencer. Hey, I'll teach you how I made all my money. And this course, it's usually $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. But today, for the next 250 people, it's going to be $399. If you ever get that, I want you to do me a favor. If you ever see somebody saying something like that, write down all your questions. And then I want you to ask a licensed real estate professional. I'm a real estate professional, not a realtor. Ask a licensed real estate professional or realtor or broker. I guarantee you'll get the answers you need for free. And if they don't have it, they'll get it from someone that can get it to you.
It's just a bunch of hogwash. Eddie just talking up a storm, acting like an expert, looking like a dude who's gonna rip you off. And of course, he already has. And his background wasn't even in real estate. He allegedly did go to college, earning degrees in both economics as well as business, but he wound up being a high school teacher for a bit. That's when he claims he found ways to make money in real estate, and made more money from those investments than he did from teaching, so he quit his job in the educational field in 1978, starting to work part-time as an independent loan broker, and in 1981 he wrote a book, No Down Payment Formulas, which was indeed the main focus of the Millionaire Maker television seminar. And of course, he told you how to get no money down real estate and all this other hogwash. But again, as I already stressed, it's very difficult to do. Not everyone's going to be able to do it. If you're paying for a seminar, don't actually do that at all, or buy his book, or anything of the sort. Basically, no one saw any results from this particular strategy, and many attempted to get refunds, which Eddie made sure was exceedingly difficult to the point of being impossible, because of course he did. But that wasn't even the only grift he was running. No, the other one was way stupid. Oh yes, because, I mean, we've heard of the real estate grift before, the no money down system. How many real estate scammers have said that there's a no money down system and have promoted a no money down system? Eddie was not at all alone in that particular scam, but he also had the credit card millionaire system.
Our investment in
Let's let him get some more money.
Can enable our auditors to reach a...
All right, cool.
I'm sure most people understand what a credit card is. It's a card that has a line of credit from some kind of financial institution, usually a bank or credit union. Either way, the vast majority of you have the full understanding that a credit card, being a line of credit, requires you to pay it back. It's like having a loan in your pocket, you know? So how in the world are you going to become a millionaire off of credit cards? Was he suggesting you start your own credit card institution and start issuing people credit cards? I mean, I guess if you have the funding to do that, that probably would be a pretty good business. Credit cards are very profitable because you always have to pay them off with interest, just like any loan.
Actually, credit cards are actually not that, they're not that profitable, so to speak. They're only profitable when people actually pay over time. But if you're like me and you pay your bill, like you'll charge something and then you pay your bill in full next month, you're going to start to see that they're going to start taking away your credit because you're not making them enough money. But he is telling the truth. It could be profitable if a person charges $10,000 and it takes them 2 to 3 years to pay that off. You're going to make a lot of money off that person. But if you're like me, where you charge maybe $350, $400, $500, and then when the bill comes, you instantly pay it off, or even worse, this is the one they hate. I charge today, and then next week, I pay that whole thing off. You're going to see your credit card get cut off because they're like, no, we're not making money with him.
Oh, but no, Ed Beckley's system was way more irresponsible. Instead, he advised people who purchased his advice on this to take cash advances on up to 200 different credit cards, and then take that money and invest it on very short-term, low-risk and high-yield opportunities. Now, there are two...
The one that Tarek and Christina got themselves into a few years ago, the one that they got called out over, the ones from Flip and Flop, they weren't actually the people that put this together. They partnered with a company that did that. And the seminar was free. But if you chose to go into the mentorship, I know Tarek now does a different mentorship. He has his own thing, how Flips by Tarek or something like that. That is his, and he does it himself. So, but before they did it, and it used to be a huge thing, where if you chose to continue, the first thing they would ask you to do is call your credit card company and ask for an increase of, $90,000, $100,000, $250,000, and then they want you to pay for these courses that really didn't do anything. The courses were pretty much the exact same thing that you can get, once again, on YouTube by finding a flipper in your area, or pretty much reading a book like Flipping for Dummies. I don't even know if they have those anymore, though, for dummy things. But I'm pretty sure if they don't have it, I'll probably have some of my friends who do flips put them together so y'all can get real stuff instead of this crap.
Major problems with this. First of all, there aren't that many short-term, low-risk, high-yield opportunities when it comes to stocks or investments. That's pretty rare. And if someone's promising you that, it's probably some kind of pyramid scheme. That's not how the stock market functions. It's pretty unusual. So you're basically going to be risking this money off of more traditional stocks. And that can yield profits in the long term, assuming you invest in, well, good stock. That turns out to be an incredibly good company that does well and grows in value. But to take out a whole bunch of cash advances on credit cards and throw it all into the stock market, you might as well take it to the freaking casino at that point. This is a tremendously, outrageously irresponsible thing to do. Horrifyingly, this won't make you a millionaire. This is just going to destroy your credit for life. Are you kidding me? That is horrifically terrible advice. And yeah, some people took it, winding up in severe debt. Because of course they did. But it didn't take long for the authorities to get wind of Beckley's, well, frankly, tremendously, outrageously irresponsible level of fraud here, because what he was promising people just couldn't be done, and at best he was giving them horrid advice. At worst, well, Ed's former company, the Beckley Group, was based in Fairfield, Iowa, and in 1986 the state attorney general's office shut the whole thing down, suing Beckley for $2.8 million on behalf of around 8,000 people who had each paid $295 apiece for the home study investment programs. And it turns out the reason he was being fast and loose with giving refunds is that he straight up couldn't afford to pay everybody back because he had spent most of the money he made. They did agree to a $2.4 million settlement, but Beckley still couldn't come up with the money. He filed for bankruptcy, lost nearly $2 million of his own money, and his wife of 19 years left him. Additionally, another source does state that he actually went to jail too for at least a few years on securities fraud, though I haven't found actual verification as to whether or not that's true. Eddie's a pretty tough nut to crack. There aren't too many verifiable sources on him, but one of them does state that he did go to jail. But either way, the one I trust, Los Angeles Times, wrote an article back in 1996, not only detailing pretty much everything I just told you, but also pointing out that by 96, Beckley was back at it. Because of course he was. He's a career...
Well, there's really no other recourse for these guys. So they can just keep doing it because that thing called freedom of speech. So as long as they can keep saying stupid stuff like this and putting it out there, and the thing is, someone's going to buy it. When people are in dire straits, they will buy anything. It's why Mary Kay, Avon, what's the other one? Thrive. It's why these things keep propagating, because someone is going to buy into it because they're looking at I can bring generational wealth to my family. No, you're going to bring generational trauma to your family doing this stuff.
Scammer, come on now. Even if he did go to jail, he's gonna keep scamming, keep looking for that money, the dinero. And not like legitimately, because that would be stupid. No, of course not. We're gonna rip people off instead. We're gonna focus on the dark side of money making, not the good side, not the legitimate business, not the mom and pop shop, not selling a decent product. No. Just rip people off. It's great. Everyone loves it when people do that. Actually, wait,
of course.
No, the opposite! He founded a new company, also in Fairfield, which he called Home Business Technologies Incorporated, along with a partner named Steve Wynn, who had also worked with him at the Beckley Group. So, you can only imagine the kind of scammy nonsense they were coming up with. And once again, Beckley was operating seminars. Oh, for God's sake, not again? Seriously? This time he had a different idea. In order to attract less attention, he no longer promised big get-rich-quick schemes or anything like that. Instead, he charged people $295, because of course they did, and taught people how to supplement their main incomes by teaching them how to become distributors of a whole bunch of different products, like finding college loans for people, reduced rates on airline travel, hotels, rental cars, all sorts of stuff.
Man, this dude really... If I get to heaven and this dude is at the pearly gates, send me straight to hell.
He would also sell distributorships for sunglasses, gumball machines, as well as even grocery coupons. These little side gigs that are going to net you just a whole bunch of, well, just a little bit, actually, of extra money. It was the little bit part that kind of helped him steer around any criminal charges, because as long as people were making some money, he would have the argument that, see, they are making some money. None of his new stick suggested that you were going to become a millionaire off of these ideas, just that you'd make a little bit of extra funds, but only if you give him $295 for him to actually tell you that, which is still ridiculous. And once again, the Attorney General's office and the Better Business Bureau were looking pretty strongly at him. Even though he was playing carefully this time, they just didn't trust him, because of course they didn't. Why would they? Both organizations advised potential customers to be wary of Beckley and his new organization, and this made Beckley really upset. He said they were picking on him, that he'd made a mistake, sure, but, like, you shouldn't judge me for my past. I've changed. Instead of doing seminars telling people really bad advice about how they can make millions and millions of dollars, while charging them $295 a pop to give that advice, I am instead now doing seminars teaching people how they can make just a little bit of extra money, charging them $295.
You know, let's just take one good look at this guy, for example. You could just tell he was the slipperiest, slimiest eel. But you know what? Once again, in dire straits, we listen to anybody. Okay? People will drink poison if they're thirsty enough. And that's exactly what this is. It's poison. But the reason people listen is because they're in such dire straits and they want to get out of it. So anybody that says even the slightest thing, they'll listen to.
Pop it. Beckley! This is the same scam. You're just promising less. Don't lie to me. However, it doesn't seem like his new company really went anywhere. The advisories from the authorities, as well as Beckley's own past, made it so that HBT didn't last particularly long, though I can't quite figure out exactly when they would have shut their doors, and from then on, it seems like Ed has completely fallen off the map. I can't even verify if he's still alive, as he was 48 in 1996. So, he'd be getting pretty old by this point. But based on that alone, it does seem to imply that his scamming career was sufficiently over. He had his time. He had his chance to run away with the money, and he just didn't because he was too egregious with it. And I think more than anything it was the credit card thing. If he had just stuck to real estate, he could have pulled a Tommy Vu and made the argument that people had to actually work at it to make the system profitable, and that they simply weren't doing that. And then run away before things got too hot. But Ed also did the stupid credit card thing, which any logical person thinking about it would realize that it is a tremendously, outrageously irresponsible thing to do at best. Do not do that. And thus he found himself crushed under the big boots of the law, going bankrupt, losing his marriage, attempting again to be a scammer in the mid-90s, but also not failing at that. Because, yeah, I mean, listen, you scammed him once, buddy. You ain't doing it twice. You went to the same town.
Bro, do you know how many people you could scam more than once? Do you actually know how many people you could scam more than once? Because once again, anyone that's looking, if you're constantly looking for the get rich quick, I could literally sell you my cell phone and tell you, if you buy this cell phone for $500, I have all the connections in there to make you money. Ain't nothing in my cell phone. But someone desperate enough is going to buy it. And if I tell them, well, are you sure you went through it all? Okay, well, look, I got this extra code where you can get 2,000 of my extra contacts for another $500. Once again, someone who's desperate enough is going to pay for it. And the sad thing is, I've seen people get scammed so many times, and you just try to tell them it's a scam. Stop. They won't listen. Anyway, we're going to end right there because I don't want to, make this any longer. This was a good video, so go subscribe to History in the Dark. Check out his channel. Let them know I sent you over there. And also, Mr. History in the Dark, get yourself a crumble cookie today. Get you a good crumble cookie today. You've done very good work as of late. Get a crumble cookie.